Hey guys, let's keep moving. If you did the last steps in my video, this is similar to what your album probably looks like, and as you can tell, it's starting to take shape. We are now ready to bind our album or bind our pages together. Before we do that, if you plan to ink your edges, once you get the binding on here, it's going to be hard to ink the back side. So if you're picky about getting all your inking uniform, go ahead and ink the back side of your edges now. And I just use, I think I'm going to ink my edges in black and use the little cat eye color box chalk ink in Blackbird. Some people like to use little daubers. I just they're nice and small and they're easy just to kind of work your way around the page. So that's how I'm going to do mine. We'll ink the rest of the edges later, and some of my pages are really glittery, so it might not, well, I guess it shows the ink up pretty good. Never mind. So I'm just going to give them all a real quick swipe. And I wasn't watching the viewfinder on the camera. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. It's been a long day with all the gypsy hype. I think I'm worn out. It's been fun. Okay, got a little ink and we are ready to bind. This is going to be just a quick demo on the Bind It All. I have had some requests to do a full tutorial on how to use the Bind It All. That's something I may do later, but to start out, let me get my pages back in order. I would hate to bind the book backwards. I think I probably would cry. And I'm not kidding. Okay, let's see. How does it go? Okay, now that we've got it, we are going to bind it with the Bind It All. And I have the black wires, and they're 3/4 of an inch, and these happen to be just cut at the right size or the right length. I'm going to use 6 wires. They come in long strips. Here's a set of white ones, and they're a little bit smaller. So you can see how they come, and you just count however many wires you need and then just cut it with a pair of wire cutters. Now if you don't have a Bind It All, that's not a problem. You can also take a hole punch and punch on this book. I would say probably a hole up here and a hole down here, and then get the little oh, I can't think what they're called, but the little rings like in a 3-ring binder that you just hook through, and then you can tie decorative ribbon on them, and that would look absolutely fine. Since I have the Bind It All, that's what I'm going to use. Now obviously this book is too thick to punch all of the pages at once, so we're going to have to break it down. And for those of you that don't have a Bind It All, this, let me move my camera back. This is what a Bind It All is. And if you notice on the back, there's an arm that's a little stabilizer. We're going to pull that out to make this stable. I've got this knob turned out to 3/4 of an inch. You set this to the size of your wires that you're going to use. And let's see if I can do this. Since this book is not real tall, it's going to be simple to bind because you can just eyeball it right here in the machine, and you don't have to line holes up and keep moving down. It's going to be a simple 1 punch per page. So that's going to make it really simple, and that is all I'm going to do is eyeball it. I have my little setting here on the side. I just have it completely open, so this will slide all the way through. Let's see. Just gonna center it. Let me see if I can stand up here and do it. I'm just gonna grab a hold of it, and I can't see in my camera to know if, I hope you can see this. but you're just going to grab the handle and it's going to punch the holes. And hopefully you can see that. Let me get back here and look. Yeah, and they're all nice uniform holes. I'm going to go through and do that with each page real quick like. We're going to try to keep this video short, but I'm just going to eyeball each page, and because my pages are thick enough, I probably am going to have to punch one at a time. I guess I could try to do a couple together. You just want to watch and not get your fingers down in there. I guess it probably doesn't come all the way out to the end, but you don't want to smash them. Just kind of eyeball it. This little machine really makes it nice, and it's so easy to get nice uniform holes, nice clean holes. And since I'm doing this quickly for the camera, I hope when I put it all together, my holes all line up. Okay, let's try it and see how well I did. Oops, turn my pages around. And if you can tell, actually, I must have eyeballed pretty well because they all line up. So now we're going to actually bind it. We're going to take our little wires and you just simply stick them right through those holes. That's why they have to line up. These wires have been thrown around quite a bit, so they're kind of out of shape. Okay, just like that. You're going to hold it up on end, and then in the bind it all, we're just going to place it flat right here in this slot, and when we pull the handle, it's going to squeeze those wires together. I don't know how well you can see it, but hopefully you get the basic idea. And like I said, maybe later I will go ahead and do a video on the bind it all. I've got a lot to learn about it first. Okay, so we're going to place it down. Try to hold it flat. And you kind of want to have your book centered over those wires. And we're just going to give it a slight squeeze to pinch those wires together. Oops, I missed one. Okay. And I just remembered I made a very, very, very big mistake. Okay, I did something very wrong, because do you see how you can see the ugly part of the wires? That's not what you want. Let me pull these apart and I'm going to reuse them and do it again. I tell you, it's hard to remember everything you're supposed to do on video. To try to talk, do, think, and keep it moving so it doesn't move so slow. It's easy to forget, but when you bind your book, you want to take your back page and you're just simply going to bring it around and over the top of the book, over the front of the book. So once it's bound and I open this back up, move it back so you can see, this will flip back around. And then it will be right, and the ugly part of the binding will be on the inside. I am so glad I caught that. So let's try this one more time. Okay. And we are getting close to 10 minutes, so I don't want to have to make this a two-part video. I'm going to give it a slight squeeze. As I said, I need to practice with the bind it all. But then, as you can tell, it's almost 10 minutes. When you bring it back around, there you have it. The nice side is on the outside, and we're going to cover these with ribbon. Thanks for watching.